All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hope everyone's doing well. Today is the October 5th, 2023 City of Columbia Board of Zoning Appeals. My name is John Gregory, Chair for the board, and will be serving chair for today's meeting. At this time, I want to introduce other members of the board. Davis Whittle to my far left, Celia McIntosh, Catherine Finner, Marcellus Promise, and Sherrard Duval to my far right. Also want to recognize staff and thank them for all their help. Hope Hasty, Zoning Administrator, Erica Hyen, Deputy Zoning Administrator, and Sky Robinson Barnes, Land Use Board Coordinator. So the board is charged with hearing applications for special exceptions, variances, and administrative appeals. All testimony is recorded for the record, and anyone wishing to speak will need to be sworn in and come to the podium to speak. No testimony can be taken from the floor. When you come to the podium, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone because this meeting is being recorded. Applicants with cases before the board are allotted a presentation time of 10 minutes. This time also includes all persons presenting information on behalf of the applicant. This time limit does not include any questions asked by the board or staff regarding the case. Any member of the public may address the board in intervals of 3 minutes or 5 minutes if by a spokesperson for a body of 3 or more, which doesn't look to be the case today, but the applicant will then have 5 minutes for rebuttal. The board reserves the right to amend these limits on a case-by-case basis. So at this time, we'll swear those in who are going to be presenting, and those of you who plan to speak must be sworn. If you're here as an applicant or here to speak in any case, please stand at this time and raise your right hand. Thank y'all. Do you affirm or attest that the testimony you will give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Ms. Hasty.
Good afternoon. We'll start with the consent agenda, and we just have one item, which is the approval of minutes from the September 7th board meeting.
Okay, can we get a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All right, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion's approved. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the regular agenda, we have only one item today, and it's case 2023-0028V, 3030 North Main Street, and it's a variance request to the maximum sign height standard. And we do have the applicant here this afternoon to present his request.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. We all, please come to the podium.
Thank you very much. I'm Hal Turner. I'm the son of the guy who wrote the application. Actually, he's my son. I got it backwards. My wife is Carolette Cromer Turner, and she and her family have owned Cromer's Peanuts and operated it for 88 years in Columbia. And we're here today to seek a variance that we were granted about 3 years ago for a sign to be erected at 17 feet 10 inches. And I'm going to yield to Reed Runge, who is our manager, who's going to cover the points with you very briefly. But essentially, we have a visibility problem because of the road construction that effectively raised the road and lowered Cromer's relative to the road, as well as the overgrowth of the state-supported greenway beside us, which has served to block the visibility as you come across Main Street. So at this point, I will end my comments unless you have any questions. The only thing I can tell you, I was the guy that used to clean the monkey pens at Dutch Square. So, Reed.
Thank you.
Guys, my name is Reed Runge. Firstly, thank you, obviously, for taking time out of your busy days today to listen to us. So obviously, as most of you may know, Cromer's has been, a staple here for 80 years. The sign that we're, meeting about today is from the 50s. It's followed us to every location. Sorry, I gotta shake these jitters. It's the first time I've been in this setting. One of the main issues that we're having is the concern that the 17 feet, in the past 3 years, we've been able to observe the outgoing traffic and, the traffic going through our lot, and we get a lot of, commercial work trucks and vans, and we are concerned that the 17 feet will not be quite enough for the clearance. The sign is originally 20 feet, which means we wouldn't have to augment it at all. We would basically leave it as is. And we are fairly confident, based on the information that we've been given by Flagship Signs, who will be working on the restoration of the sign, that the 20 feet that we are asking for will be plenty. And to Mr. Hal Turner's point, we are seeing some visibility issues. As you can see on this picture, that those woods and brush have grown significantly over the past couple of years. And customers, quite frankly, just have a hard time finding us. And we believe that this sign essentially will be that spotlight that guides customers to us, and it will bring much deserved traffic to the North Main area. And that's pretty much all I have. If you guys have any additional questions, me and Mr. Howe here would be glad to answer them.
Thank you.
Yep.
Before you sit down, does anyone from the board have any questions? I have a question. Yeah.
How you doing today?
Good, good.
The location of the sign, I was a little bit, it wasn't all the way clear to me. Is it going to be attached to the building as it previously was on the older building? Or is it going to be on a pole, standalone sign in front of the building?
It will be on a pole. So if you're able, I saw that last picture, I could actually give a good example of where it would be. So right here, that tree kind of under where you see Cromer's on the
Yeah,
sign,
the
it's
little
going to be
naked
to
tree
the
right
right
there.
of that where those bushes are, is where this would go.
Where those 4 bushes are right there behind that little skinny tree?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It would be
So
right
sort
in
of-
front of
Sort of
the-
under the C.
Yes, yes. It would be right in front of that tree on the far right. And it would stand, from that. We initially wanted to have it on the building, but because of the awnings and the trees adjacent to the business, it wouldn't have worked out. It wouldn't have given us the visibility that we were needing. And we feel like this would be the best place to put it.
So, okay, I can see it clearly now. Okay, I get it. Okay.
I'm a little confused, and I guess I was thinking you might be more towards the corner of the building, and the reason being, when that tree has leaves and grows up, it might actually block your sign, but.
We did test it. We kind of drove down, and from each side, if you're driving down the hill or up, it will give perfect visibility of the sign.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
I saw an email thread, and I thought there was a picture that would give like kind of a mock-up. I apologize, I would have brought it. Right there.
I see.
This one makes sense to me.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
That one right there,
I see.
Yeah.
and then I
Right.
can see where he's
Just
saying
curious more
the
than anything,
trucks
are you going to
driving.
have it perpendicular to the street or more parallel with the street?
More parallel.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any other.
May I add a point?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Understanding that property to the right of our building is part of the Greenway and will be connecting ultimately rails to trails. So hopefully, it's our expectation that will be cleared by the state of South Carolina. And we are likely going to invest in some, just on our own, clearing it, having some landscape just to make it a little bit more attractive in there.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you very much. All right, at this time, would anyone in the audience, I don't see any, but I'm going to ask the question. Anyone else to speak on this case? Okay. All right, so we don't need to have y'all return up. So we're going to, at this time, testimony's closed, and we'll just move into board discussion. So you want to lead us off?
You wanted a motion, I believe?
Yeah, let's just do it. Yeah, if y'all are ready.
I
If that's
actually
what
have
you
a
wanted. I
question
think that's what
first.
you wanted, right?
All right,
Can
Sherrod.
I ask a question to Ms. Hasty?
Yeah.
So my question is, I saw the email that was sent out by Erica with the original 2018 ruling for the 17.6 sign. I saw that earlier. My question was, I didn't quite get it from that when you sent that paperwork.
Yeah.
Why was the sign rule put in place in the first place for that particular area side of town? What were they trying to do with reducing sign? Do y'all know what that was?
I think just due to that being in the North Main corridor, that North Main overlay, and they wanted more of a pedestrian scale of signs and things like that, not as much visual clutter, up high in the air. So that's the reason, I believe.
Okay, that's just important for me to understand, like, I mean, I like the idea of the sign, but I'm like, what was the purpose of the rule? And now that I understand that, and I see the new sidewalks and everything that's over there, I get it now. Okay, that makes sense. Does that make sense to y'all? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Thank you, Sherrod. Do we want to have a motion?
I move that we approve, subject to staff comments.
Second?
Motion and a second. I was thinking about saying this is where we were going to do board discussion.
No, is there discussion on the more,
Yeah, so we were, Sherrod, you weren't here when we were going to do the motion, then the second, and then move into board discussion to discuss the motion.
Okay.
Let's officially move into board discussion, and we'll discuss the motion, if there is anything to discuss.
I guess the only thing that I can see was that the question is in number 4, it would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. I mean, I don't think it'll unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. I'm having a little trouble with that. That said, I think it is counterweighed by number 5, which says that it's for the public good, and I can see that people not screeching to, pulling across things to try to pull into Cromer's to get them some peanuts or whatever is probably a counterbalancing good.
That's why I asked the question of exactly where it was placed, because my concern was that it was much closer to the street and would become part of that visual clutter. If you've seen historic photos of, Assembly, North Main, it was, just that classic horrible mess of signs. But this being more associated with the building, I just felt a lot better about it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good points. I'm good. Any other comments? Okay, no other board discussion. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion's approved. Thank y'all very much.
Move to adjourn?
Yeah, y'all can take it. We know where y'all are. Yeah. Thanks, it's really good. All right.
Thanks. Come on.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion, and do we have a second?
Second?
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion's approved.